It's your boy JD, and this is The Itch. And I'm here with special guest, lifelong partner,
and lover,
Matt, also known as my roommate.
What's going on, y'all? Also
known as the only guy who will play Madden. And we're here to review Madden 17. He is. I'm not. So obviously, we played a little bit of Madden. I'm not that good at Matt is. He's kind of the
sports guru.
The sports guru when it comes to football only. Really, I don't think you're good at anything else. So.
We got a wide array of talents. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you could be like, ask the ladies. Oh, anyway, he's like, I'm thinking about it. Anyway, so let's get started with the review. Obviously, there's no story in Madden, so we're not really gonna worry about it too much. There's like a campaign, sort of
franchise
season,
mode. Right?
But that's really. It's not as good as the NBA 16 or 2K16 or whatever story made by Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee joint.
So
we're going to jump into gameplay. So obviously, these are, annual installments. Jumping from 16 to 17, offensive-wise. So that means when the player has the ball. For those that don't know. What has changed?
Well, they try to make a big point to emphasize the run game, make everything more fluid. Before it's really clunky, you go left, you go right, but they put more motion in how a player would actually run. So if they wanted to juke, it's more solid. If they wanted to spin, hurdle, they added modifier buttons, like you push L2 and you do a hurdle. It's more fluid, and you actually you dominate them.
It looks like it actually belongs.
It looks like something somebody would actually do in a real game.
Right, that's good.
And it's just the run game is just very fluid. The way they run, it's not clunky, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go left.
Is there mechanical changes as far as to how you operate with the ball? I know 16 had a big deal about how you catch. Obviously, that is returned in 17, but
right.
Is there anything else that they added on to say things like that?
Well, it really was. The biggest thing about sports games that they're really trying to push is realness. What the reality, just this is what would actually happen in the game. This is actually what a person's body movement would look like when they do it. Yeah. They have different catching animations. They have different just one hand grabs, low catches. Just how somebody would actually flow into grabbing and catching the ball and cool running with it afterwards.
Right.
So
they're really just focused on making sure you can't tell the difference. Well,
right.
It's
not the same repetitive catching moment.
Right.
All the time. Yeah. Same one. Oh.
There's more variety.
No, then there's that, and then they catch wherever they're gonna catch. Yeah.
Catch freaking ninjas or something. So when it comes to defense, obviously I've seen a couple changes. Such as if say for instance you're trying to stop a offensive linebacker or whatever, and you guys hurdle up or whatever, you have to press the button that corresponds with that.
So in 16 they kind of had that where you could either do a power move or a finesse move.
Right.
So a power move would just be throwing the dude around. Finesse move would just be to swim around him, just completely just juke the guy out of his shoes.
Right.
This one they kind of put more it's just more fluid about how they do it, and they put different schemes. So the actual, if you're not controlling, the CPU actually has its own designated tactic, and it follows it. It's not just runs into the next player. They actually follow the scheme of the defense that you actually put in the formation.
Okay. Again, going for that realism.
Right.
Which is, I guess, the common theme here.
Yes.
More of an approach 16 and 17 than I think 15. Because the whole what's called
15 was glitchy. It was like playing Grand Theft Auto. Your player would disappear, and you'd be like, "Oh, ghost player," and you would never know. You would just see a ball.
No idea.
Where's it going?
Awesome. So all right. So we had that offense, defensive. Tell me about kicking the ball.
Okay. So I have a love-hate relationship.
That's called a punt or a field goal
or the kick off. So they changed.
Or the kick on. That's a. Never.
No. So they changed the kicking to where it went from a simple back flick of the stick to forward, and you would kick it.
Right.
Now it's a timed meter. It goes halfway up where your power is, and then halfway in accuracy. And if you miss it just by a smidge, you kick it. You totally shank that thing, and that thing's gone. There's a fan that now has a ball. He doesn't know why.
Oh
He's
my God.
What is this? So
the deflated Tom Brady ball, awesome. But when it comes down to that, that's more the traditional Madden. That was back in the day.
Right. But it wasn't so sensitive as it is now. But the reason they're doing that is because they changed the NFL changed the rules. It used to be the field goal was only like 15 yards out. Now it's 35.
Yeah.
So that extra one, people were missing kicks. I don't know if anybody watches football religiously like I do.
All the time.
But last year, there were so many missed field goals that people were actually going for 2 points instead of actually kicking field goals.
That's cool.
So, and then one more thing too is like with punts, you can put backspins on it now, so the ball would actually come back. You can sky it high if you're like too close, or you can just launch it, like streamline it. Mm-hmm. And then,
or you can do onside kicks. My personal favorite.
Yes, onside kicks. Yes. When you don't need to do that. Ever. It's fourth down. Can we do an onside kick? No, we have to score first.
No, it's onside kick. It's onside kick.
And then one last thing is there's this term called icing the kicker. So it's like, say it's like fourth down and they're about to kick a field goal.
And they could probably get it.
So they'll send the unit out there to kick the field goal. Well, right before he's about to kick it, you can hit it. You can press a timeout, and it will make it to where your aiming reticle. It'll get real close up on the screen. And it'll make your aiming reticle disappear.
Right.
And so it is extremely hard, which in reality, that's the point in
they do that
a sport.
Yeah,
that's what they point. So that's cool. I think it's cool. But all in all, the kicking it's frustrating. I miss a lot more field goals than ever before.
So let's get visually. Obviously, we talked about the animation. Animation-wise, everything looks a bit more fluid. I remember when you first picked it up and I was watching you. You know, when you're actually going around guys or whatever, or hurling over them, whatever the case is, it looks like it makes sense.
Right.
Outside of those, has there been any other, visually, obviously, there's probably a graphical...
Well, every time they release a new game like this, they add, there's the graphics jump. But what they did is there's more camera angles. There's more up close. You'll get more character interactions. And... you'll just have different views coming into the huddle or anything like that, and then they'll add it. Would they add like a Gatorade commercial?
Oh, that was so dumb.
They like putting songs in there. No, like it's just going back to the realness of being at an actual game.
Yeah, but except I can pause and all that.
Right, and they just add just a bunch of different just.
You can totally skip it, right?
You can skip everything, but if you want to kind of see like, oh, what's these little nifty little things they put in there that I'm probably never gonna look at again. But it's camera angles, interactions, stuff like that. Visually, they've just upgraded a lot of the player realness. That was a big thing. Last year, they were like, okay, certain characters like, okay, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Come on, man. Richard Sherman. Get it right.
Unfortunately, Richard Sherman. Go Niners. But it's like
somewhere in this
certain characters, they would look more real because they spent more time, like J.J. Watt or Clay Matthews. They were more real. But then they added an update like halfway through Madden 16 that updated everybody's facial. But this one, it's in there already. So there's no updates. It's just cool. Like everybody looks even more so.
Right.
Like themselves. So visually, that's good too.
So audio-wise, obviously they have a licensed playlist, whatever, ranging from rock to country and all. What?
There's a change to the audio tracks. So it used to be, here's your audio tracks. You don't like them. Oh well. Yeah. Now what they do is it's like Spotify. They add to the playlist. They refresh it, so you'll never have the same music. It will keep refreshing as like new hits will come out, like that new Drake joint. Even though we don't like Drake,
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his Ghost Riders. That's great.
So that they add music. They keep adding music, and the big other thing that they have is they took out the old announcers and they put new ones, and with that they update
the announcers.
Yes, they update the things they say based off of what's going on in the season. Like they were even going to put something in there about Colin Kaepernick. Oh, Colin Kaepernick didn't stand for the national anthem. They're going to put a little spot in there in the actual game. Like, who cares? You're playing a video game. Why do we care about politics in a video game?
Yeah.
But they do update the.
Someone's never played Witcher.
they update it though, so it's not the same things they say all the time. So that's cool too. So it adds a little bit of like fun because sometimes they're really rude. They're like, wow,
they hurt my feelings. When we lost, they hurt my feelings.
Well, they really went for that, and that wasn't a good idea.
What a shitbag! I can say that, right? This is NBC. Oh, yeah, shitbag.
And then obviously the noises of tackling, the grunts of people, and it just gets more real and real as it goes through.
That's cool. So pros and cons. Let's lay it out. So pros, obviously, we got animation increases or
real animation.
More real stuff.
Yeah, real.
We've got better announcers. We've got a more fluid soundtrack. So that's neat. What else?
Catching animations are getting better on both defense and offense, and I didn't speak about this before, but the cornerbacks, the defensive players that are basically contending against the receivers,
right,
they have different animations, so they have more of a chance to get an interception.
Cool.
So they changed it on both sides of the ball, so that's good too.
Yeah. They probably got them Odell Beckham catches type stuff.
Oh yeah,
I saw some of those.
Oh yeah, they throw that thing into the ground.
Let me lay one out there because I saw this firsthand. Fuck catching.
Firsthand?
Yeah, I wish firsthand. Literally, and I hope you use the clip. It's literally, pass gets thrown to me, open, drops.
Just drops.
It hits his hands, he drops. And my guy's like, I got it! And books off.
They definitely make sure that the receivers have feet for hands and hands for feet. Because
It's the worst.
Yeah, but thing is that, whenever any game comes out, any multiplayer game comes out, there's always patches. And there's already been one. But yeah, they definitely make it to where it's like, just drops off the thing.
So we've got that. What else other cons can you think of?
Fumbles. Oh my gosh.
Fumbles
they
are
turned
serious.
up the fumbles. Like, you get hit and you fumble out of nowhere.
Dropped it.
Oh, you bumped into me, dropped it. Fumbles are way over the top because they turned them down in 16 near the end, and it was just impossible to get a fumble. Now, if you're on the defense and you make them fumble, yeah, it's great. But if you're just like, I'm about to winning drive, and then
Fumbles definitely aren't that frequent. I mean, I don't watch the sport as much as you do, but I don't really see fumbles happening as much as they happen in the games that we played.
Right.
Only 2 games, and it was like 8 fumbles total.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
It's
and it was
over the
all
top.
on us, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had all the penalties, so that's great too.
Should've had that popcorn,
What?
yeah.
That popcorn?
Yeah.
Oh, you're funny. Why don't you just be like, why don't you have better fingers? Cut me off again. Anyway, outside of that, I could have sworn I was thinking of another one. Do you have? Kicking.
I don't like the kicking. I don't. Me personally, I think the kicking is. They probably could. It's a cool concept,
right,
but it seems like it's too sensitive. Like people be missing kicks left and right. And you're like, wow, I could have won
Gotta make
a
it
game.
harder, bro.
Yeah.
So bottom line, what would you recommend this game for?
Right now, as it stands, I would probably, because it's just it's almost like an installment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It's because it's a yearly game. I would only pay $30 for it right now. But later, as it gets down the road and they actually patch things up and make the changes, I think it could be, but I'd still probably only pay like $50.
So pretty much, as it stands right now, if they never patch it again, $30. But as it gets better, maybe it actually earns its $60 or close to it.
Yeah, because I know it's just a sports game, it's a yearly sports game, but there's a lot of fun things to it, and like I said, they consistently add content weekly, which goes along with what's actually happening in that National Football League. So
cool stuff.
It's realness is good.
It's nice to see that they're actually taking the effort to be like, hey, this actually happened, so now you can play it.
It's not just like, here's the game. Now we're not going to touch it.
Next year, we're going to remember what happened last year.
No, they're just like, we're constantly working on it.
They're working with it.
So it's good that they're constantly working on it, which brings value to the game. They're just like switching things.
Whether or not you follow the sport or not, that's still admirable in that regard.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it. I'm JD. This is Matt. Thank you for coming on and telling me all about football. So amazing.
Sundays are going to be legit.
Yeah, you yell all the time. I'll see you back at the house.
I'll see you back at the house.
Hit the showers.
All right, brother.
God. Thanks for watching. God.